Good evening and welcome to News Rounds. I am Nkechi Tejuri. Here are our top stories. Tinubu inaugurates College of Petroleum Studies in Kaduna State. Iwere Indigenous Peoples Movement rejects INEC ward delineation in Warri, threatens shutdown of oil facilities. Osubi Airport Management targets 10 billion naira revenue in 2 years. Electricity Act fallout, Gencos, Discos tension rises over state-led tariff cuts. CAC postpones implementation of new fees, penalties to September 1st. Igbogidi Oluwarun matchup to begin 10th edition of Oluwapori Peace Cup. Now to the news in full. President Bola Tinubu is set to inaugurate the College of Petroleum Studies in Kaduna State, a major step towards strengthening Nigeria's local capacity in the oil and gas sector. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani made the disclosure on Monday during a visit by the Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, Ahmad Galadima Aminu. The governor emphasized that the federal government has pledged full support for the smooth running of the college. He noted that the institution has the potential to train local experts that can transform the face of Nigeria's petroleum industry. Ahmad Galadima also announced that the college will begin academic activities in September 2025 with its first cohort of PhD students. The inauguration is expected to mark a turning point in building indigenous expertise to drive growth in the nation's energy industry. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has postponed the implementation of its new service fees and penalties to September 1st, 2025, offering temporary relief for users facing portal challenges. In a public notice released on Monday, the CAC said the decision was made in response to widespread technical difficulties encountered on its online platform. The new fees, initially slated to begin on August 1st, apply to charges for documents not downloaded within 7 days of approval. Users have reported persistent issues with document downloads, payment processing, and post-incorporation flinks for business names. The Commission acknowledged the glitches and assured the public that efforts are ongoing in collaboration with technical partners to stabilize the AI-powered system without a complete shutdown. The CAC also emphasized that the shift is based on feedback from stakeholders and is aimed at ensuring a smoother transition for businesses nationwide. The Commission thanked users for their patience and reiterated its commitment to improving service delivery across the country. Tensions are escalating in Nigeria's power sector as more states move to slash electricity tariffs following the new regulatory powers granted under the Electricity Act 2023. The controversy was sparked by Enugu State, whose Electricity Regulatory Commission cut Band A tariffs from 209 naira per kilowatt to 160 naira per kilowatt effective August 1st. This decision has drawn sharp criticism from power generation and distribution companies who argue the move threatens the sector's sustainability. Gencos, through their association's CEO, Joy Ogali, warned that the sector is already burdened with over 5 trillion naira in unpaid debt and that such tariff reductions ignore the true cost of power production. Despite the backlash, Enugu insists it's followed due process, and other states like Ondo, Ekiti, and Imo are now considering similar cuts. So far, 7 states have assumed regulatory control of their electricity markets, with more set to transition by September. Industry stakeholders warn that unless carefully managed, the growing push for state-controlled tariffs could destabilize Nigeria's already fragile power sector. You're watching News Rounds. We'll go on a short break. When we return, more news stories to come.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. A wave of protest swept across Nigeria on Monday as retired police officers took to the streets demanding their removal from the contributory pension scheme, which they described as a poverty trap. In Abuja, retired police officers marched from the National Assembly to the force headquarters, blocking the entrance for hours. They chanted and held placards calling for immediate removal from the pension scheme they say had left them destitute. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun addressed the crowd, expressing sympathy and assuring them that talks are ongoing with key government officials to resolve the matter. Similar protests were reported in Edo and Kwara states, while in Oyo, a solidarity march was held by Take It Back activists. Organizers say the demand to exit the CPS dates back to 2014, yet over a decade later, no action has been taken. An animal science expert has urged the federal government to take decisive steps towards unlocking the full potential of Nigeria's livestock sector. Animal science expert Dr. Olayimika Taoshe has urged the federal government to unlock Nigeria's livestock potential. She commended recent steps like the National Livestock Transformation Plan, but stressed the need for urgent reforms to ensure sustainability. Taoshe called for more investment in industrialization, genetic improvement, and technology-driven livestock production to meet rising food demand. Taoshe remains optimistic that with the right investment and policies, Nigeria can position itself as a major player in global livestock production. The Ishakiri ethnic group in Delta State is rejecting the Independent National Electoral Commission's proposed ward delineation in Warri Federal Constituency, calling it fraudulent and unjust. The group says the move is a calculated attempt to politically and economically marginalize their people in their ancestral homeland. The protest follows a statement issued by prominent Ishakiri leaders on July 21, 2025. The group condemned INEC's ward allocation proposal in Warri South, Warri North, and Warri Southwest local government areas. According to them, while Ijaw-dominated wards have tripled in number, Ishakiri wards were either reduced or left unchanged. They described the process as a direct threat to their political identity. The statement also slammed the community report chaired by INEC officials, including Dr. Baba Bila and Professor Rhoda Gumus, calling it biased and unacceptable.
We wish to state categorically, without any form of ambiguity, that any review that does not address the manifest injustice and disproportionate distribution of wards as seen in the proposal given to us by INEC will not be accepted. We can no longer accept such grave miscarriage and travesty of justice to be foisted on us in our own homeland. Furthermore, if INEC fails or intentionally neglects to comply with the true picture of the field work carried out during the delineation exercise in the security axis, we will be left with no option than to completely shut down the operation of all IOCs and indigenous oil and gas companies operating in our domain.
The Ishakiri leaders are urging the National Security Advisor to intervene and demand a fresh, impartial review committee. They also want that any attempt to pacify them with additional polling units or Greek gifts would be rejected, insisting instead on a full and just delineation based on field realities. You're watching News Rounds. We'll go for another break. When we return, more news stories to come.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. The Ogun State government says it is fully prepared for any legal battle stemming from the burial of the late Abu Jale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona, who was laid to rest according to Islamic rites. The State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Shina Agungbade, SAN, dismissed threats of litigation from traditional groups, particularly the International Council for Ifa Religion, ICIR. The group had accused the government and the royal family of violating traditional rights required by law. Ogungbade stated that while any individual or group has the legal right to challenge the burial process, the decision to honor the monarch's religious beliefs stands firm. He described any lawsuit on the matter as a likely waste of time and resources. The late monarch passed away on Sunday, July 13th at the age of 91 and was buried the following day. However, the ICIR insists the burial contravenes Ogun State chieftaincy law, citing Section 55, which mandates traditional rights for royal burials. The council's president, Dr. Fayemi Fakayode, and legal representative Ifashola Okpeo Odu have vowed to pursue the case in court. The controversy continues to spark debate over the intersection of tradition, law, and religious freedom in modern Nigeria. We'll go for yet another break. When we return, more news stories to come.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Welcome back. The Special Investigating Unit's probe into alleged corruption within South Africa's lottery system remained stalled, held back by bureaucratic delays over a year after a key request was submitted. National Lotteries Commission offices passed SIU investigations stacks of documents officials in discussion. Almost 15 months after the SIU submitted a request to amend the presidential proclamation that authorizes its investigation into National Lotteries Commission corruption, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development has yet to act. The original proclamation, issued in October 2020, only covers NLC grants awarded between January 2014 and November 2020, but subsequent audits have uncovered irregularities worth hundreds of millions of rand outside that timeframe, including fraud and questionable procurement practices. However, due to the limited scope of the original mandate, the SIU remains legally barred from pursuing several leads, including fraudulent grants and the appointment of service providers. The backlog of SIU proclamation requests grew during the tenure of former Justice Minister Thembi Simelane, who was later moved to human settlements following allegations tied to VBS Bank. Though the new minister, Mamoloko Kubayi, has fast-tracked several pending cases, the SIU's application related to the lottery scandal filed in April 2024 continues to gather dust. For now, the investigation remains at a standstill as the SIU awaits a decision that could finally expand its mandate and uncover the full extent of corruption within the National Lotteries Commission. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says its sustained high interest rate policy is a deliberate strategy to curb inflation, restore economic credibility, and defend the naira. At the Nigerian Domestic Investment Summit, CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso, represented by Blaise Ijebo, defended the current high interest rate policy, saying it's key to tackling inflation, rebuilding investor confidence, and stabilizing the naira. He admitted the impact on businesses is tough, but stressed that the policy signals credibility and commitment to macroeconomic reforms. Cardoso highlighted past economic distortions and noted that recent reforms like forex unification are already improving market confidence and reserves. The CBN says these measures are already yielding results, including improved investor confidence and stronger policy discipline. The governor also assured that efforts are ongoing to enhance financial inclusivity and access to credit, particularly through bank recapitalization and regulatory reforms. The management of Alfred Diete Spieth Osubi Airport in Warri, Delta State, has announced a bold plan to generate 10 billion naira in revenue over the next 2 years. At the 2025 Airport Business Summit in Lagos, Airport Manager Winston Igwatu, represented by accountant Salifu Adama, said the airport earned 1.9 billion naira in 2024 and aims for 3 billion naira in 2025, 3.3 billion naira in 2026, and 3.6 billion naira in 2027. He also noted increased airline activity with Overland, Arik, and Rano Air currently operating. Air Peace and United Nigeria Airlines are expected soon, while UMZA Air and Green Africa are also engaging operations. Recent upgrades include new baggage carousels, restored airfield lighting, a fuel dump, and a modern police station. The airport is also pursuing partnerships and non-aeronautical ventures like schools, hotels, and an aviation clinic. Security remains tight with multiple agencies on site, and the airport enjoys strong backing from local communities and traditional leaders. Nigerian music sensation Rema continues to make waves on the global stage as his hit single Baby tops Spotify's list of most globally streamed Nigerian songs in the first half of 2025. Released in February, Baby, which samples Sade Ado's 1985 classic of the same name, quickly climbed global charts and became Rema's first major release of the year. Spotify's report, released on Monday, unveiled the top 30 most streamed Nigerian songs from January to June 2025, reflecting the growing international influence of Afrobeats. Rema's global appeal was further boosted by collaborations with stars like Omah Lay, Chris Brown, Victoria Monet, and Shenzi. Meanwhile, gospel singer Lawrence Oyor also made headlines as his track Favor emerged as the only gospel entry on the list, gaining massive traction earlier in the year. With streaming numbers on the rise, Nigerian artists continue to expand their global footprint, signaling yet another landmark year for the country's music industry. And now in sports, the 10th edition of the Olu of Warri Community Peace Cup is set to kick off with an exciting opening fixture between Igbogidi and Oruworun communities in Udu local government areas of Delta State. The official draws for the 2025 tournament were held on Saturday, July 19th at the Ojoye Eyewoma Hall, Isisi Road, Warri. This year's edition will be hosted across 4 venues: Nana College, Yowuren College, Ubeji Grammar School, and Rice Farm on Isisi Road. The Oluwafori Community Peace Cup has become a unifying sports platform aimed at promoting peace, unity, and grassroots talent development across Delta communities. The tournament promises thrilling action and community engagement as anticipation builds ahead of kickoff of what has become one of the region's most anticipated football events of all time. And with that sports news, we come to the end of News Rounds for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a pleasant evening.